police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. The police are after me, she said. Yeah, they held their gun to my head, but somehow I ducked, escaped, and fled the scene. Well, they already ran my ID. Yeah, they already ran my ID. They pulled me off the train in the Portland rain. Mid-November in the warmest ride, and the greenery's the best place to hide, especially when you're riding suicide. Especially when you're riding suicide. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. So I got back on when they were gone on the flagged old gondola. Then I smoked the resin in my bunk cause the police didn't find it. Woke up in a mountain range, woke to a cold, wet, lonesome pain. And then the time it came to get the fuck off the train because the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend, for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. She said the police are after me for being dirty, trespassing. They hate me cause I ain't clean, but I think they're the ones who are dirty.
Hello folks, we're doing this here.
Doing it.
Yep, welcome to the Garret Schuelke podcast. I am your host, Garret Schuelke, broadcasting live in stereo with this recorder on a tripod, very small tripod.
I like it.
Yep, here at Hardy Brewing Company in East Town.
The Earth's Lager.
Thank you.
Here's the stands.
Thank you. And that was just our beer. Thank you, server.
We're gonna get hammered. It's gonna be a sloppy podcast.
Oh, dude. Last time I had a Grand Rapids comedian, Scott Ryan on. Oh, I got fucking hammered.
Did you really?
Yeah, but then again, we were at Mulligan's and I don't know why, but I think it's because it's an old building and there was a bunch of shit in there. It just got to my allergies, so I had a huge pack. I didn't want to cancel this, so I did the most logical thing. I got as day drunk as possible while doing the podcast with him.
Perfect. That works, man. The place invites itself to get hammered. When you go in there, like, I've given up all hope. Let's just get drunk and forget about things. So, yeah.
Yep. And the individual I'm speaking to today, folks, he's a local comedian who's been named the funniest person in West Michigan by Review Magazine.
Yes.
Twice.
Yes.
2018.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake.
No, come on, don't be that way. Believe in yourself.
All right, fair enough.
He's also the host of the LMNO podcast.
Yes, sir.
Which, as of this podcast, is at 353 episodes.
Yeah, and actually, I think it's probably closer to 500, only because originally I did it under the name Studio 1534, and then I changed the name of the podcast, and I just started over from number one. So I think there's probably about 150 Studio 1534 podcasts.
You really get a sheet like that?
It's I found with podcasts, you do it because you like it. If you don't like doing it, then there's no sense in doing it.
We shall get into that.
Oh, okay, very good. All right.
Let me continue the simple.
I'm sorry.
Let me stoke that ego. See, he is an organizer for the yearly Grand Rapids Comedy Festival, known as LaughtFest.
Yep.
Toilet connoisseur.
Currently, right now I am, yes.
And most recently, you, sir, have been the recipient of a 30-day ban by Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes, he's got a problem with me and my posts.
And we will get all into that.
Yeah, fun. It's good times. It's good times.
Folks, let's welcome the comedian who attempts to do comedic things, Stu McCallister.
It's me. Thank you.
Did I get that right?
You got it. You nailed it, man. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Okay, dude, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Well, thanks for inviting me. And like I said, I haven't been to Harmony House in forever, so.
Yeah, same here. And yeah, I would say pretty cool right now. We're in like the second room since they took over like the subway or something.
Yeah, it was an old subway, and they've probably done a lot more business with it now that it's the brewery and not the Subway sandwich. So.
Yeah, I'm currently drinking the honey ale. And delicious. And what do you
Nice.
have?
I got a lager of some kind. I was looking for something with the lowest alcohol content because I'm a huge puss.
Oh, really? Well, you also are driving.
Driving, yep,
Whereas-
not too far away.
Yeah, whereas I walked here. No, because I'm a responsible drunker.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to live this close to a bar like this. I wish I lived close to a bar.
Yeah, okay, not to give away your address, but like, what area of Grand Rapids do you live in?
I live Boston Square area, so it took me not even 10 minutes to drive here. So I live very close too. But there's nothing in that area. Although it is trying to rejuvenate itself, but I think there's a level of suspicion amongst people in the neighborhood because there's some organization that's coming in and kind of buying up empty properties.
Gentrification.
Yeah, and I think there's that level of fearfulness from that. Hey, all right. Thanks, man. Enjoy. And
Stu has his pretzel.
I got a pretzel with cheese. You want anything else, man? If you want some, help us out.
No thanks. I've already eaten my lunch and kind of been having some problems lately with my guts.
Oh, then maybe a pretzel's not so good for you.
I know, but this honey ale is perfect thing for your stomach.
So people I think, are afraid of what might be coming. The zip code, I live in 49507 is my zip code. And I used to work for Child Protection Services many years ago. And 49507 is high rate of calls come from that zip code that I live in. So it's not a great area. So it definitely could benefit from some gentrification, but I think the people who live there are kind of like, all right, well, what's happening here? Can I continue to live here? What's it going to be like? So
I guess if you want to get into some political talk,
What?
it's always good. No, if it actually helps the residents of the area, I don't think it's gentrification. I think it is gentrification when you basically bring in these businesses and these contractors, landlords, etc., and it ends up basically booting the people out of that area that lived there for God knows how long.
I don't think that's happening with what's the properties that are being purchased. People are buying like old businesses that have just been sitting there forever, and so I don't think there's necessarily going to be, unless they knock them down and try to build condos or some shit, which I'm not for that personally. I'm like, if you bought a business, let's put in like a little mini Meyer or whatever you want to put in there. Let's put in a brewery or something. Put in something where some business is going to be generated in the community.
How about we put in something really useful, like a vape shop?
Yes, I'm sure Governor Whitmer would be all for that. So,
Yeah, that's already getting challenged too. I think dealers can still sell right now.
yeah, the fruity flavors or whatever. It's all very weird to me. It's one of those things of the fruity flavors of vapes. Like, I don't smoke, I don't vape, I don't care about any of that stuff. But if you're going to blame that stuff, then look at all the alcohol that you sell, like watermelon pucker and cotton candy vodka or whatever. I mean, you get all these...
honey.
Yeah, honey ale. I mean, you got all these fruity flavors of liquor that I'm like, how is that any different than like the vaping, right?
You're absolutely right. This is a huge danger. Every beer should taste like it's from Wisconsin.
It should taste like nicotine or tobacco or whatever.
There actually is something like that. I think it's like, God, one of my favorite podcasts, Street Fight Radio, they got this from their one of their listeners from menthol flavored vodka.
Sounds super awful.
So now they say this podcast brought to you by menthol flavored vodka.
Right, there you go. All right.
All right, you want to get into this, man?
Let's do it.
Like I said,
Come on, man.
Thank you for being with me today.
Well, the topic that you want to talk about is clearly in my interest right now.
Actually, there's a lot of things that are of your interest.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, believe me, this won't be like a short 5-minute podcast.
All right, fair enough, man. I'm ready to talk.
All right, dude, let's do it. Stu,
Yes.
let's get into your origin story.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, where were you born?
I was born in a small town. I was born in Jamestown, New York, and I grew up right outside of Buffalo, New York. And then I went to college and southern, western New York. And then I moved to Massachusetts, and I moved to Georgia, and then I moved to Michigan. So I've been around a little bit, but I've been here in Michigan 19 years now. So
Yeah, what were you like growing up? What was your childhood like?
boy, I'm the youngest of two, and I was a quiet kid. I was average, nothing. There was nothing about me that stood out in any capacity. I was B's in high school, and kind of athletic, but not really. And I didn't stand out in any kind of capacity. Like, I think if you were to ask the people I went to high school with, like, how would you describe Stu McCallister? I think the majority of them would go, who? So, I didn't stand out. So,
All right, outstanding origin story.
well, thank you. Thank you, Garrett.
Yep. So let's get down to what the people here really want to hear.
Yeah.
As a comedian,
Yeah.
how did you get into comedy?
I am a fan of comedy, right? Just a big fan of it. And when I moved back to Grand Rapids, I would always go to Dr. Grin's, the comedy club downtown here, and they would do shows on Thursday that were half price, right? So you would still see the same show. It might be a little shorter, but still the same acts, and you're paying $5 as opposed to $10. I'm like, why the hell wouldn't I do that? I'm cheap. I'd love to save $1 or $2. So I would go, and then on Thursdays, they would do an open mic before the show. And I'm sitting there watching it, and it's consistently the same people, because back then, like 15, 16 years ago, there really wasn't a comedy scene in Grand Rapids. And so I just saw these guys do the same stuff all the time, and the majority of it wasn't very good. It just wasn't. So I was like, all right, now I have to put the rubber to the road, and I got to prove that I can be as funny as these dudes. So I started doing some open mics, and then there was an old timer who lived in Grand Rapids who taught a class, and I'm like, all right, I'll take his class, it'll give me some stage time, and maybe I'll learn something, and then it just kind of progressed from there. So,
What was like the first comedians that like really caught your eye when you got into comedy?
when I lived in Georgia, I would go consistently to the Punchline. That's one of the comedy clubs down there. And they kind of did the same thing where Thursday was half price night or whatever. So I would go there a lot, and I saw people like, I saw Ron White there, I saw Mitch Hedberg there, I saw Lewis Black there. So a lot of these guys who eventually became very famous people.
Oh, yeah.
I saw them in a small comedy club.
Yep. Lewis Black, he's coming to 20 Mile Roll Live next month.
Yeah.
Ron White's coming back in April or March.
Yep.
And Mitch Hedberg.
And Mitch Hedberg is dead.
Yes, he is. And he's never coming back.
He's never coming back. He's been canceled. So,
The ultimate cancel.
Mm-hmm.
As in he died.
So I saw all these big dudes that I'm like, oh, these guys are hilarious, right? And they weren't, at that time, like 20 years ago or whatever, they just weren't the big names that you knew. Like, I think Lewis was probably just beginning to get famous. Like, I think he was on The Daily Show at the time.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's just like,
I
he's the
remember.
crazy lunatic, old man lunatic, just rah, 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 ranting and raving and yelling. It was so different from everybody else, kind of.
That's my first exposure to Lewis Black as well, since when I was in my teenage years getting into politics.
Mm-hmm.
Daily Show was like one of my big influences,
Yeah, yep.
along with like Michael Moore and that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do remember Lewis Black very much.
Right. Yeah, it's great.
What was he like? Kind of had like an Andy Rooney role on that show, where it's like
Right.
the minute with.
Right. And he would start off very calm, and then by the end, he's like
And he
frothing
freaks
at
out
the
like
mouth.
this.
Right. He's going berserk. His hands are gesturing everywhere. His hair's all out of sorts, whatever. So,
One of my favorite bits from him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty relevant for this month since it's October. Happy Halloween, folks! Is candy corn bits.
oh right.
What is it like? All candy corn was made in 1812.
Right. Yep. Yep.
They wash it. They wash it.
So he's great. So I saw just a lot of good dudes. One of my favorites was Sam Kinison, though. was always a big Sam Kinison fan. I really
Wait,
think
you seen Kinnison?
I saw Kinison
Holy
in
shit.
19. This tells you how old I am. I saw him in 1988, I think, in the summer of '88. He came to Kleinhand's Music Hall in Buffalo.
Nice. How was that?
It was amazing. It was amazing. And the opener was Carl LeBove. And I wasn't aware, like I wasn't knowledgeable of comedy. And so I just assumed Sam would come out and do his act, and then that's the show. I didn't realize there would be like a warm-up act. Like I didn't think it was like a concert where like here's the opening act before like Aerosmith or whoever, right? So here comes this guy, Carl LeBove, and he was amazing too. I was like, what the fuck? And I actually got to meet Carl many, many years ago, and I had the ticket stub from the show, so I got him to sign it, so it was very cool. So yeah, but Sam was, I wouldn't call him like Lewis Black. I mean, other than like the yelling, like he clearly was more, he was not political and he was not, I wouldn't say he wasn't smart, but he wasn't smart in the humor. A lot of yelling and swearing and sex and drugs and rock and roll, and that was Sam. That was probably my first exposure to stand-up comedy.
Let that be known, everyone. Stu McCallister on Sam Kinison. Good, but not very smart.
Well, he was a dude that I was like, if he was still alive today, what would Sam be like? What his act? He was very non-PC, clearly.
Oh, man.
And so, what would he be? Would he flip the script? Would he be like Lewis Black, or would he be kind of like Dice Clay, where he just kind of faded into the background?
Well, he's still around, but he's clearly like in that character still. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll have like a few times where he could break out of it. Like I heard Clay like was in some Woody Allen film.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, it's still the same dude. Hickory Dickory Dock guy.
Well, he came to Firekeeper's Casino a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I tried to make that one, but I got too busy.
I did go. I went with 4 people because we'd been told like it was totally different. Like it wasn't the Hickory Dickory Dock stuff, and that Dice was more real. Like he was genuine to himself, and I'm like, all right, I got to see that because.
Say what
Dice.
What is the genuine Dice Clay?
Right, and that's what I was interested in. Like, what is it? Like, he's going to talk about his marriage, his kids. Like, what's it going to be?
I mean, honestly I've heard his stand up. I mostly got him though through Opie and Anthony. They would have him on, I guess, and they would just prank him all the time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's great.
So, but I mean, I was aware of him because he came out like when I was in high school. I was still pretty young when all the nursery rhymes came out. And originally I thought it was funny, and then the more and more that he put out, the more and more I'm like, this is just simple, filthy stuff. It's not funny. So I'm like, all right, but I'll go see this new this new Dice. I'll see it. And he came out, and it was the same shit. It was just the same Hickory Dickory Dock, just a different spin. He told like the classics. And, he's smoking a cigarette and a stupid jacket and all that. And I was with 4 dudes, and none of us had the courage to say, let's get the fuck out of here. Because all of us felt it. When the show was over, we were all like, oh, that fucking sucked. And we all should have just said, yeah, let's just get out of here. It's not worth our time. So, which is a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar feeling, and you were at this show at the Pyramid Scheme a while back. Mm-hmm. Tim Heidecker.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2 opening acts, Clownvis and
Neil Hamburger.
Neil Hamburger. I've heard of Hamburger, but I never saw him until then. Wow.
I love Neil Hamburger. I love it. And I totally get if people don't like Neil, but it strikes a chord with me, and I found it hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious, but if you look at his act, it's pretty much just like pop culture references and 1-2-liners.
Yes, it's very weird.
Yeah,
Yep.
Let me see if I can do my impression.
Then-
What do you get when Michael Jackson touches a... We're in a brewing company, so I really can't say it loud. Gives a hand job to a 5-year-old boy. The Jackson 5. Perfect. Then he does like the wheezing sound. But yeah, Tim Heidecker's boring.
It was ungood. It was ungood, and he was the one that I didn't know. I had seen Clownless before. I had seen Hammer before. I didn't really know Heidecker though. But I mean, people were there to see him. It was a sold-out show, I think. And
Well, I mean, are you a fan of like Adult Swim or any of the shows?
I've never seen it. I've heard it's good. I've
Oh,
never seen it though.
it's excellent. If you're really into like absurdist humor, anti-humor, if you want to call it that. There's a lot of like weird 15 minute stuff, skits.
It's great.
Yeah,
And that's where I knew people knew him from that, right?
yeah.
So, but he was someone that we laughed. I was like, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I just left because it was boring.
But it was weird to me because I've never seen so many people like leave a show before. And I forgot that I'd walked out on him. The other one that I walked out on was Jeff Dunham. And when I saw Dunham,
He's coming back here too.
he is. He's playing the arena. Boy, he's selling out. But, I saw him at a county fair many years ago, and it wasn't because I wanted to see him. It was because I don't like this guy, but he's very popular, and I'm like, all right, maybe I need to see it. Maybe I'm missing something because I'm not there live. So I managed to score some free tickets because tickets were like $40 a pop, and I'm like, I'm not paying $40 to see someone that I don't care for. So I scored some free tickets. I went. And lasted maybe about 10 minutes before I looked at the guy I came with, and I was like, let's get out of here. And he was like, yep.
Well, which puppets did he like go through? Which racist puppet did he go through?
That was the weird thing, is like he started his set with like traditional stand-up. He probably did 10
Really?
minutes with no puppets.
I've never seen him without puppets.
That's why it blew my mind away. And it wasn't good. It was like, hey, I came in on an airplane, and then he's doing airplane jokes and airplane food jokes. It was very
What's the deal with airlines?
What's the deal? It was very, very hacky, open micer, not good. And then when he started getting into the puppets, I think it's Walter. That's the old man.
Yeah.
I think that's the original one or whatever. And then it's just dumb. It's very lowbrow, and I just don't find it funny. Like, I get if people like it, good for you. It's just not for me. And so we left. Because there were like 4,000 people there who thought we were nuts for leaving. They were
Really?
loving it. They're all like, yeah.
And then they notice you. Hey, where are you going, buddy? I can't take it. I can't take these unfunny racist puppets.
Going to the bathroom or something to fucking take a shit. He was one of the things that blew my mind away was the merch that he was selling. He sold miniature versions of his puppets at $80 a pop, and people were buying it.
Wait, were they like actual puppets or just stuffed animals?
I think they were actual puppets, but they were
Really?
miniature size. They weren't like as big as his real puppets. And it blew my mind away that people were spending that kind of money.
Dude, that's just asking for joke stealing right there. Can you imagine like some open micer come up with like one of the puppets, maybe like he put a hat or he drew something on there.
Sure.
Just starts doing Jeff Dunham jokes.
Gave Walter a mustache or whatever. Yes, exactly. So,
This is Wilter, everyone.
perfect. You nailed it.
Let's see, Firekeepers. I had the pleasure of seeing Tim Allen perform.
How was that? Was it okay or no?
Oh boy, it was an experience. I came there with my folks, my boomer parents.
And they probably loved it.
Oh yeah, they did.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I will say this about Tim Allen. He is probably the most angry comedian I've ever seen on stage.
It's unfortunate.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much of it was an act or if he was like legit angry.
Right.
So, because he pretty much went through like talking about like his past shows.
Sure.
He did some like bashing, millennial bashing.
Right. The PC culture.
Yeah,
or whatever.
PC culture,
Yeah.
snowflakes, and all
Yes,
that.
yes.
But the whole time, two things I noticed. Unlike a lot of comedians, like he did not touch the microphone at all. He like didn't carry it around. He literally like pretty much stood in one place the entire time.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty rare. That's a rare thing.
And he had his water there. Never took a drink of it at all. And to imitate him, he always most of the time has his fist clenched like this, and like I said, he was angry. He was angry. He was swearing like, you know, I remember back when I was on the set of Santa, and I saw these kids back there. I want an autograph. And I told my manager, I don't want these fucking kids around me, okay? Get them the fuck out of here.
Huh.
Everyone's laughing because it's like, oh, Tim Allen, Tim Coolman Taylor,
Right.
Santa. Here he is, you know, fuck the kids.
Sure, it's kind of like a Bob Saget thing.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know that Bob Saget's a filthy motherfucker,
Well,
you're going to be really surprised.
Oh yeah, well, Bob Saget feels more natural.
Sure.
And like I said, Allen was just angry to the point where I'm like, wait, is this it? Is he just gonna be there standing around clenching his fist the entire time? And I get the whole angry comedian shtick.
Right. It's weird because, like, I don't know if you've seen any of his old stuff, kind of before he became famous.
Honestly, I haven't.
Like, the Toolman character actually came from his act. Like, he had a Comedy Central Presents or Stand Up or whatever it was, and he did the like, and then and that became the actual character in the TV show. So it actually. When I watched it, I watched it maybe 5 years ago, I'm like, this is actually pretty funny, right? Like, I was not expecting it to be good, but it was well written, and he played to the crowd, and it was great. So it's weird to see a guy like that take such a turn and just become of like a dick. And I feel like it's the political climate that we currently live in, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, along with his whole, you know, triggered snowflakes on Twitter. What? It had some like drunk. He said "fuck California." There was just this drunk guy next to us the entire show. "Fuck California!" screaming that out.
It's all dumb, man. You're going to find conservative people in California. You're going to find liberal people in Kansas or whatever, right? It's weird to me when people try to like polarize, like it's red versus blue or Republicans versus Democrats, conservatives, liberals, or whatever. I'm like, I consider myself liberal. I lean more left, but there's plenty of liberals that I think are fucking assholes, and then there's a lot of conservatives that I'm like, oh, that's a good enough dude. I don't generally like talking politics with a lot of people. It's almost like I don't want to know. I don't want to know what your beliefs are in any kind of capacity, right? Like, let's just watch a football game or eat pizza or whatever.
Oh, you know me from Facebook. I'm a raging socialist. So.
Sure, and that's fine, man. I'm fine. I'm actually, when it comes to that stuff, I'm cool with you being whoever you want to be. But when it interferes with what I'm doing, then it's like, you can go fuck yourself, right? Like, I'm not a Trump fan at all, and if you're a Trump fan, more power to you. That's awesome. But if you're, like, coming on, like, my social media stuff, like, spouting off about things...
we will get into
like, get out of here, right? Just get out of here.
All right, I'll tell you one more before we continue.
Okay, please.
I also had the pleasure of seeing Jerry Seinfeld before, here at the Boss Place.
Yes, and?
Well, here's the thing with me.
Okay.
I know, obviously, different comedians, different genres, different ways to go about it. So, my personal preference, I'm more for like guys like Doug Stanhope or Patton Oswalt.
Sure.
But I'm willing to take in other styles and like adjust my crap meter, you could say.
Sure.
So I saw Jerry Seinfeld.
And?
His opener stunk.
Do you remember who it was?
No clue. He's just some
Okay.
Italian dude. He's all like, I like spaghetti, blah, blah, blah.
Very bland.
New York spaghetti, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
My wife.
Right.
And Jerry Seinfeld, yeah, he's pretty much like his openers of Seinfeld, the show where he opens stand-up.
Yeah.
Pretty much like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was as good as he could ever be, I guess.
Sure.
Like, I was thinking, probably like the one joke that was probably my favorite, probably the edgiest. He was talking about like commercials, you know, infomercials. And what's that one with like the screaming guy who can like seal anything?
Oh,
Flex seal.
yeah, I know the commercial. But
Yeah. Well, let's see if you get this pop culture one.
Okay.
He was talking about Flex Seals, like that guy screams so loud that you could hear him if he was trapped in a cave in time. You get the pop culture reference?
Yes.
If no one knows, it's about those kids that were trapped in that Thailand cave for a while.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
They're like, oh, there we go.
Jerry Seinfeld's as edgy as a circle. He's not for me. And again, if you like Jerry Seinfeld, that's great. I saw him years ago for the I'm saying this for the last time or whatever that special was that he had. And I saw him at the Voss, and I'm like going, this isn't good. Like, I thought it would be better, and it wasn't good. And I'm like, I like Seinfeld, the TV show, and I get that Seinfeld, the comedian, is beloved, and he's an icon, but it isn't for me.
TV show is vastly better.
Yes, I love the TV show. TV show is great.
And man, come on, his performance in the B movie. Yeah.
Never saw it.
See it, dude.
I got it. It's on Netflix or Hulu, and I'll check it out then.
Anywhere, any way you can, see that film.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
You know, every great movie you've ever thought of in your life, in history,
Does not compare.
Throw it out. B movie beats it all.
The B movie is now the new number one.
Yep, Rebel Without a Cause, nothing compared to B.
Sure. Schindler's List,
Yep.
no way. B movie.
Yep, Avatar, Avengers, Endgame,
Damn.
not compared. Even the latest movie, Joker, it's a masterpiece, but not as big of a masterpiece as B.
It's shit compared to B.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to see Seinfeld again later in Detroit. And again, I got hooked up with free tickets, right? Like a friend of mine, she had tickets, and then she realized she couldn't go for whatever reason, something came up. So she's like, here, take these tickets. And I said, give them to someone else. I don't like Seinfeld. Give them to someone else. And she's like, I've tried, I can't find anybody. If you don't take them, they're going to go to waste. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. And she gave us the 2 tickets, and they were good seats. We were like on the main floor, maybe 16 rows from the stage, so good seats. And the entire time he's on stage, I'm like, I want to leave.
Boo him.
He's doing jokes that were just like weird wordplay jokes that to me, an average open micer would think of, and this is clever. And I'm like, ugh. And just leaving a theater when you're in the middle of it all, you can't do.
That's my least favorite type of comedy.
Theater comedy?
No, like the clever wordplay,
right.
like Mitch Hedberg or Dimitri Martin, a few others do. It's just like, there's no point, there's no range.
Right. And it's fine. And I'll tell new comics, I'm like, you probably want to avoid that stuff because anybody can think of that.
Oh yeah, I've seen. I haven't been to a lot of open mics a lot around here lately due to money problems.
Sure.
But oh my God, everyone I would go to, there would be at least 1 or 2 of them that would, like I said, like Hedgeberg, like Dimitri Martin. They get like a prop, be like, I'm gonna write down all my favorite beer names and comment on them.
Yes. It's fine. It's fine, but it's not original generally, or it's easily done by someone else.
Yeah, I just find it really boring and stale.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more like Patton Oswalt, Doug Stanhope.
Sure.
Louis Black, rage guy, angry about something, commenting.
They're making a statement about something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not to go like full Bill Hicks or George Carlin, speak truth to power, but, say something.
Did you see Stanhope when he was here? He came a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him about 3... No, 4. This will be my 4th time already.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're a big fan of Stanhope.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's one of my big heroes. And shout out to Bob Fredericks, who helped book that show.
Yeah. Yep.
Who I was on his podcast. Thank you, Future Self.
Oh, were you?
That out.
That's great, man. Very cool.
Bob, you owe me for the promo book. All right. Okay, we're done reminiscing about comedians we hate.
Fair enough. That we hate.
Hate them all.
Yes,
Comedy should not exist.
Comedy is shit. I hate it.
It's horrible. It's the worst.
Yes.
No, I've done a lot of deep diving into you.
Oh, okay.
Both figuratively and hopefully literally after this.
Okay. All right. You scare me a little bit now. I'm glad we're in a public place.
Well, why must you deny these feelings? No. So on your website, on your bio, you said you transitioned basically from a social worker into comedy.
Yeah.
So how did this happen? Were you like a social worker by trade?
Yes, I have a master's degree in social work that I got from Grand Valley State. Go Lakers! And I did social work for 25 years, and then I just came to realization that I hated it, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I haven't done any social work. It's been 5 years now, I think. So I haven't done any social work in 5 years.
What kind of social work was it?
Boy, I did a gamut. I did a lot of stuff, man. I did foster care work for a while. I did the Child Protective Services work for a little bit. Most of it, though, was therapy in psychiatric hospitals. I worked with kids in a residential program at Pine Rest, so they lived there on campus. And then I worked at Forest View Psych Hospital, where I was a per diem therapist, meaning I filled in when someone was sick or on vacation, or if the census was high and they needed someone else. I would come in and did inpatient group and family and individual therapy, or outpatient family therapy. So
Okay, and this actually kind of confused me when I was reading your bio.
Okay.
When it's mentioned that you went from social worker to comedian.
Yes.
But and maybe I'm misunderstanding, so please clear it up.
Okay.
But it said that you were performing in some way as a social service worker.
I'm not sure what I wrote there.
So I was
I think
like,
I was doing comedy and social work at the same time. A
Oh,
good
that's
portion of
what-
it.
that's
But
what it meant.
I don't think I ever was. I never performed.
you never
at, like a
you never combined the two, like.
No. Like I would try to use humor within therapy because I feel like that is
so-
a
yeah,
bonding factor.
And when I was reading now, I think like, okay, was he like doing comedy while as a social worker, or was he like going full Patch Adams here?
Kind of. I would do that. It's one of the things too of like you need to know when to do what. Like, all right, I need to be the social worker now. Oh, now I can be more of a comedian now. Like I would have
timing is everything.
I would have to go to court, and I will have one more. Sir.
And you have the
I have a
lager.
lager. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
So I'd be on the stand, and I'm like, now is not the time to crack jokes with the judge and lawyers and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
knowing your audience.
knowing your audience. But like, when I'm doing therapy with people, like I often felt like the comedy could break the tension, or it could normalize things.
Oh, okay.
So there's that capacity. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I
And
got
even with my coworkers too. Social work it's an awful business. It can destroy you pretty quickly, and so you learn to use your coping mechanisms. And for me, it was my sense of humor. So sometimes it got me in trouble, but whatever.
Yeah, not enough to like get you fired.
Well, one time I think it did help to get me fired.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Oh, what happened?
One of my positions, I was working for an agency where we work with adults with mental illness who lived in the community, and we did case management. So we either had people, they all lived in the community, but they might live in like an ASC home, they might live in like a group home, they might live with their parents, and they might live independently as well. So either they came in to see us, or we would go into the community to see them. And I would just goof around with my coworkers, and I think my clients liked me enough too. But my manager at the time did not like me. You can tell I was constantly getting in trouble with him for things that I said, like in team meetings. And then we merged with another company. We merged with Cherry Street Health, and right before we merged, they let me go. They gave me severance or whatever. So technically I resigned, but they were kind of like, if you don't resign, we're going to fire you.
Ah, shit.
And so, it's probably always better to resign on your own. But I was able to collect unemployment or whatever. They were fine with that, but it was weird. It was weird timing.
Yeah.
And, so I knew what they were doing. And my manager, it was a very weird place. It was probably for the best. It was for the best. So
Probably Jerry Seinfeld. You should have gotten those tickets for it.
yes,
Okay,
God,
good
I
job.
should have probably. Jeff Dunham fan.
Oh God. Yes. give him a Muppet of that one racist character of Muslims. That Jeff
Yeah,
played.
Muslim and the stupid jalapeno.
I kill you.
Yes, I kill you. Yes, very stupid.
Very original.
I feel bad for knowing what that is.
Okay, when you resigned, was this when you started your career in comedy?
I've been doing it simultaneously anyway, but it was when I was like, okay, I'm not going to do social work. I'm just going to kind of go full bore and go right into comedy, and that was what I was going to do. So that was that was like pushing me off the cliff kind of thing, or kicking me out of the bird's nest or whatever.
Yeah,
Because I think it's comedy is very difficult to earn a living in, and it's man.
Wait, for real?
For reals?
Yeah, for reals.
For real. It's everyone sees comedians as like Jim Gaffigan or Kevin Hart or some. They're like the 1%ers. Those guys. They're the 1%ers, and very few people kind of get to that status where they're making $100,000 a night or whatever. I think most comedians probably will eke out an average salary that an everyday kind of manager over at Applebee's makes or whatever.
Actually, you're right. You see, that's why I'm doing this whole podcast here. Because this is how you really
major
make money right now.
Ton of money in podcasting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm on Anchor, and that distributes through like Spotify, Breaker.
Nice.
You know how much money I made so far?
$10.
No, oh, I wish. 15 cents
What?
through ads.
Oh, what? All right.
It's weird. I can explain
Yeah.
later.
Okay, fair
But yeah. So how was that transition?
Scary. It was pretty scary because everyone assumes that you have like a manager or an agent, and manager and agents only want to work with you if they're going to make money off of you. So if I'm earning $300 a week from a gig and they're getting their 10%, that $30.
Do you
isn't
have a
much.
manager at all?
Nope. Everything I've done has been through me. Any gig I've ever gotten has been through me, and it's through connections, and it's auditioning for bookers, sending out clips to clubs. It's a very unfriendly business. But I'm assuming all entertainment business is like whether you're an actor or a band or whatever. So,
Dude, I'm a writer.
Oh,
and
sure.
Believe me,
Yeah.
I have had my experiences and my stories, I can tell you. Maybe not as exciting, but still, it's something.
you have to get a thick skin, right? You get a thick skin. You're told no a lot. You're rejected a whole lot. I remember going to Columbus, Ohio, with my friend Adam Deggy. You probably know Adam.
Yep.
There's a chain of clubs called Funny Bone. And for whatever reason, the main dude who runs the Funny Bones lives in Columbus, Ohio. And you got to go there to audition.
Of all the places, Columbus.
Of all the places, Columbus, Ohio.
God damn
And so Adam went down there to audition, and I went with him as like moral support. I'm like, all right, man, let's go, let's do it. Because I had already passed too. Like I had auditioned and I had passed, and I could get work with them, and it's not a fun thing. So I email them and I go like, hey, if you guys have any extra spots, I'm coming with my buddy Adam. That'd be great. If not, I get it. It's all good. And they emailed me back and they're like, yeah, we don't have any extra time. Appreciate you offering whatever. I said, okay, that's fine. I've already passed with you guys, so it's not a big deal to me. I'm already working for you. And they're like, what? You already work for us? So, I mean, that instills a lot in my self-confidence that these people who are employing me don't even know that I'm working for them. So they asked me to audition again. And that's never a good thing, Garrett. That's never a good thing.
Wait, so you technically work for them, but they want you to audition again?
Yes, they wanted to see my shtick.
So they want to rehire you?
Kind of, yeah. They wanted to see the shtick.
Was this like before YouTube videos or
No,
MP3s?
this was like 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago. So, and I had worked gigs for them too. I'd worked their Hartford club, and I worked their Toledo club.
Oh, that's bullshit, dude.
Well, I knew what was coming. So we go down there, we do the show, and then after the show, the agent, the manager, the booker, or whatever you want to call him, he pulls us individually into his office to give us the spiel. And he told me no, he wasn't going to use me anymore. And he said that he essentially said I'm too old. There's a level of ageism in comedy, everybody.
Oh, come on.
It seems weird to me too. Like funny is funny. It shouldn't matter how old you are. But he essentially told me I was too old, and then I didn't get the spiel on Adam or not. But he told Adam as well, no as well too. So
Adam's too old.
Adam's like a decade younger than me. He's like 15 years younger than me, so he's not too old. But he just told Adam no, and Adam drove us there. And the entire time on the way back, he's just like wanting to drive like off a bridge, right? He's like, I've been doing this fucking 12 years, and I'm headlining places, and I can't even feature at this chain. And I'm like, It's all good, man. He only has there's 10 clubs, and so he's only got a certain amount of dates because a lot of headliners bring their own guys. In the 2 years that I was working for him, I only got 2 gigs from them anyway. So it's not like they were filling my calendar. But it's always disappointing to hear no. But you get told no all the time, and if you can't handle being told no, you're not going to last very long. Which just sucks, right? You want your ego to be padded, right? You ever stroke the ego. You want validation. You don't get that.
Can you use like an excuse when they said you were too old? Like, too old? You tell George Carlin he's too old? How about Don Rickles?
I just kind of rolled over and took it, man. Because again, it was one of those things of I haven't gotten much work from you. Both the gigs I did, I thought I did great. They were fun. They paid well. I sold a lot of merch. Couldn't have been better, right? And even one of the clubs asked. They thought I lived in Detroit. The Toledo room thought I lived in Detroit, so they wanted to use me as an emergency headliner. Like if someone missed a flight or couldn't get in.
That's
yeah. So it was nice, right? They didn't realize I lived in Grand Rapids, but I mean, Toledo's only 3 hours away. Like if they asked me to come out to headline a show or fill in or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, let's fucking do this. But so it was just one of those things. Like, all right, because I'm always like, I can't make you say yes. I can't have you hire me, right? So then you have to go do other stuff. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got from a comedian was Nick Griffin. And Nick was like, you need to focus on the rooms or the bookers that say yes. These are the ones that want you, so you need to focus on them. Don't focus on the ones who say no. Focus on the ones that say yes. I'm like, that's a real positive way.
A few other bookers you might not want to be with, the ones that take your money or maybe harass people you know.
There are a lot of scumbags out there, man. A lot of scumbags.
That is one good thing about being friends with you and a few other comics here, as well as being a member of the Michigan Comics Network.
Oh, you're in that group?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you get to say a lot of nonsense.
Oh, wow, that is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when, again, our dear friend Bob Fredericks has to put the band hammer on some people.
It's
always fun.
If you're in that group, because it's open to all levels of comedy, like there are guys in there who've been headlining 20 plus years, and then there's a guy who's done one open mic or whatever, and everybody's got an opinion, and I'll always tell everybody, it's better just to listen. Just listen to what other guys have to say. You don't have to contribute, but you don't have to take everybody's advice either. Just listen to it, because sometimes I got some tags on jokes, like how to end a joke with here's another beat that you can add from open micers. I'm like, oh, that's really good. I don't know how I missed that. And then I've gotten some other advice from guys who've been doing comedy 20, 30 years. I'm like, that's fucking wrong. That's wrong. I'm not going to use that. So you pick and choose the advice that you're going to use.
I get that same thing as a writer.
Yeah.
I started writing professionally, as I called it, in 2006, after I graduated high school.
Nice.
And well over a decade later, I'm still indie writer, mostly self-published.
Sure.
And I am open, but there's just been some days when I've read advice, especially when it comes to writing routines, where it's
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll get into some road stories in a sec.
Okay.
But how would you describe your style of comedy?
That's always a weird question to ask. Like me specifically, I know a lot of guys have. They already got their answer ready for that.
Weird question or the hard-hitting questions?
I don't know how. I mean, hopefully, I just can describe it as funny. My style of comedy is funny, man. It's hilarious. But it'll boil down to me and how stupid I am and the stupid observations that I make. Because I think if you joke about yourself, people can't get mad about it. Like my intention is to not split the crowd. It's not to make the crowd angry or mad or upset. I mean, I do say some jokes, like I got some jokes about gun control, I got some jokes about race, I got some jokes about gay marriage that are kind of diversifying, but if you listen to the whole joke, at the end of it, you'll laugh, no matter what side you're on. You'll laugh about it, like, oh, okay, this stupid idiot made a good observation. And there you go.
Observational comedy.
Not like Seinfeld, but yes, sure. I swear a lot more than some.
Dude, Doug Stanhope had a great rant about Jerry Seinfeld on his Oslo special.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's it, Jerry? You're just gonna sit there and observe things? What is it, Jerry? Who we got fuck up? Whose tool shed we got burned down, Jerry?"
Right. Yep.
Again, it's kind of what I was going back to my type of comedy. You know, more active, more rage, and personified.
Persona, sure. I just finished reading Doug Stanhope's book, This Is Not Fame. Have you read that one?
Yep, yes, I have.
It's great, man. It's a great book. I love the road stories he has in that, just talking about his style of humor and how it's like, it isn't for everybody, but he's in a position where he can do his own thing, and the people who come to see him know what they're stepping into.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got 3 books out. That, Taking Up Mother, his memoir.
Yep.
And his very first one that he did like the early 2000s called Fun with Pedophiles, The Best of Baiting.
Nice.
Which, when I met him last time in Kalamazoo, I took that one to try and get his side.
Nice.
Much to my surprise, he didn't react to it,
Oh,
which I thought he would.
is that a hard book to find?
Well, no, it's on Amazon. But
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's like his first book is self-published under Shake the Baby Press. And I guess apparently he partially called it that. I guess back in the day when you ordered it, like on your receipt, it would just say pedophile or something.
Nice.
But yeah, I got a picture with him. He hugged me. He's like, "Oh wait, we met in Lansing before." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw you with Junior Stock." And he's like, whatever. Come here, you ugly motherfucker." He hugged me. He grabbed my tit.
Yes.
Which, by the way, folks, earlier this month I had a terrible chest infection, as in nipple infection.
Uh-oh.
So he happened to like grip that one. It didn't hurt or anything, but. And the funniest thing was they took a picture. I put it up on my social media. Only one person, until I pointed it out, this girl I've been seeing, noticed that I was holding a book that said "Fun with Pedophiles" on it.
Nice.
Everyone else, including my dad, who decided to share the picture with me,
Didn't know. My son loves pedophiles. All right.
Yeah, he didn't. No one noticed that, which amazed me.
That's funny. You say that's on Amazon though?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Is it kind of like stories like This Is Not Fame, or what is it?
Well, basically, he had a thing back in the day where like he would get online like AOL, Yahoo, and he would pretend to like be a 14-year-old girl, or whatever, get into conversations with dudes who want to get in there.
Gotcha.
But then he would start saying like really a lot of disgusting stuff that obviously no underage girl would want to do, and see how long he could keep them on.
Sure.
He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm 14 years old. Want to hook up? Yeah, you want to? Yeah, you know what else I want to do? Everybody want to fuck a dog. What do you think?"
Right.
And these guys are like, "Yeah, that's cool. So where do you want me?"
Gotcha.
He would just keep them on until they got like too disgusted or figured it out.
That's funny. I'll have to look for that one.
Yeah. Okay, so since you started your comedy career, where has it taken you? Like,
Where have I gone?
yeah, because I know that you have traveled this wonderful country of ours.
This wonderful, wonderful nation.
Maga.
I've performed all the way into Maine on the northeast side. I've gone down to Arizona and LA. I've been up north in western North Dakota. I've never actually done Washington or Oregon, any of those states. So kind of the Northwest I haven't done. But then I've gone, down to Florida too. So I've been I'd say I've done 75% of this country I've done. So,
Really, what type of gigs have they been?
Clubs mostly, but then you do some bars and VFW halls and things like that. I've played some colleges too.
How was that?
The college gigs are different because everybody thinks it's going to be a big deal and that you're in a theater and then there's 1,000 college kids there or whatever, and I'm the guy playing the college in the student union on a Wednesday night and there's 10 kids there and
none of them are part of the comedy club there.
Yes. And it's me commenting. I'm like, hey, why is our philosophy professor talking about his dick on stage? I mean, yeah. Because, I'm not famous in any capacity, so no one in the crowd came to see me specifically. They just come, because every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, we got comedy. It's for free.
Yeah.
It's the student union. We have X amount of dollars that we got to spend on entertainment, so we can get this guy to come in and tell jokes for $150 or whatever. So it's usually fine, but sometimes it's demoralizing because it's a lot of quietness. Kids just not getting what you're doing.
Well, okay, first of all, are you comfortable seeing where you're at? Because the sun's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here at the Garret Schuelke podcast, I aim to make my guests as comfortable as possible.
No, I'm fine.
Including asking you if you're all right if you got sun directly in your fucking eye.
Yes, I need a tan. That's good.
Okay, well, get back to our good friend Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Was he in any way right about why he won't perform colleges because they're too PC?
Well,
it's hilarious.
Well,
coming from him.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, is there another comic out there who's performing who is as PC as Jerry Seinfeld, right? I mean, has Jerry Seinfeld ever told a joke that's offensive in any? His jokes are offensive to me in that they're not funny. That's why they're offensive.
Knowing him, that's probably like where he decided one day, you know what, I'm going to release my dirtiest jokes in this college.
Right.
What's the deal with AIDS?
What's the deal? What's the deal with faggots? Am I right? It's one of these things of he doesn't need to do colleges. All these guys who are calling like PC culture stuff, none of you were doing colleges. When was the last time any of those guys did colleges? Right? They did them when they started off because everybody wants to do like the NACA run or whatever. But all the Chappelle and all those guys, Burr. None of those guys need to go do colleges. And if they did do colleges, everybody in that room would go because they want to see Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, or Seinfeld, right? They don't have anything to worry about. It's dumb. I don't want to hear from them about the PC culture. I want to hear from a comic who's been doing it like 25 years, who still isn't known in any kind of capacity, but they're doing colleges for whatever reason, right? Like, what does that guy have to say? Like, how do you alter your act, if you do alter your act, because you're playing to kids under the age of 22, right?
Yeah, have you ever had any problems like that with your career?
No. I go in and I do my act, and if you like my act, you like my act. And if you don't like it, whatever.
I mean, I know you've had some problems over Facebook with your jokes.
Yes. Recently, it's been weird. 11 years of no problems, but within the last 3 months, a lot of problems. So it's been very weird to me.
We will get to that.
Okay, we're getting to it.
But before that, let's get on to something a little more positive.
Okay, I like positivity.
Don't we all? Let's see. You, sir, also, as I noted in the intro, have your own podcast.
Yeah, I do.
The LMNO podcast.
The LMNO podcast.
Which, when I was going over our message when I contacted you, I actually put LMFAO podcast. I'm like, oh, shit.
It's not a huge deal, man. A lot of people stumble over it. It's a dumb... LMNOP it's a joke in my act, the acronym. So then the LMNO podcast, it just lent itself to the joke.
Oh, I was going to ask you what it meant. I thought it meant like laughing my nuts.
No. Well, I mean, you're kind of nailing the joke, so that's a good thing. You're paying attention to it. You're going in the right direction. It's a very dirty joke. It's kind of my signature joke. People remember it. I used to sell a T-shirt that just said LMNOP, and I would sell the shit out of it.
Oh, good, because that's my favorite type of comedy. Forget everything I've been saying this past hour. My favorite type of comedy is when a comedian leads me on, and I have to figure out the joke myself.
There you go.
I don't want to sit there and laugh.
No, contemplate.
I need to think.
Yes.
Choose your own adventure type.
Yes. So I've just been doing the podcast because originally, when I was the host of the House MC at Grins, I was just exposed to all these great comics. So then I would just, every week, I would interview the comic on the podcast, and that's what it was. But it's changed over the years. I've had some different sidekicks. Garrett Elzinga was a sidekick for a bit, and then Nardos Osterhart was a sidekick for a bit. So it's just changed. It's less interviews and more me. I have two co-hosts now. So the three of us shooting the shit. So that's the podcast.
Yeah, I kind of like this podcast, but you do it weekly, And I have to do it monthly because, unlike you, I don't have friends for a long. You see the differences.
Well, it's one of the things that I've learned through podcasting of like, you get a schedule, you stick to the schedule, and things work themselves out. Like, I have a lot of people that I don't even know, I've never met, who listen to the podcast, and it blows my mind away because I'm always like, how did you find this podcast, and why do you listen?
Yeah, how has the reception been for it?
It's been positive, I think. I mean, every once in a while I'll get something like, oh, this was a waste of my time, and then I'm always like, I get it. I 100% get it, man. Like,
that happens with all podcasts.
Yeah.
You're going to have a few episodes here and there which are...
and you just have some people who just don't connect with you. They don't connect with you as a podcaster. They don't connect with you as a comedian. And I've said, I'm not trying to appeal to everybody. I think if you're trying to appeal to everybody, you're very bland. There's no mystique to you. There's no, like you said, there's no edge. There's no bite. I'm like, I'm that guy. I know I'm going to say something that probably will offend you. I don't mean for it to offend you. And I apologize if it offends you. But go fuck yourself.
Hey, you're not going to do like a Kramer and go on and apologize.
No, nothing like that. Right. But I won't put myself in a position where I need to apologize.
Oh, God. Can you imagine if Jerry Seinfeld did tour with Kramer as his opener?
It'd be the best. I would go to see that. I would go to see Kramer.
It's like, do it. I thought you were friends.
Exactly.
Oh, boy. So how has the podcast shaped your career as a comedian?
I don't know if it necessarily has shaped my career as a comedian. It's definitely shaped my way as like a public speaker and an entertainer, because it's definitely different. Like, the goal isn't for me to like crack jokes on the podcast. It's a different kind of thing. So I try to make it funny in the moment. You know, I'll say things on the podcast that would never translate to the stage, and stuff I say on the stage wouldn't translate to the podcast. So it's just about having fun, talking about what's going on. So it's fun for me. Like I said, it's fun for me, and I will continue doing it because it's fun for me. And if there's no one listening, I don't care, because I'm like you. I'm not getting paid for it. I don't have sponsors. I don't have ads. Yes, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta crank it up to like $15, then they'll give me that money.
Yeah, buddy.
But hey, I'm working on it, grinding out these podcasts.
I do have a Patreon though, and I have I've gotten up to 24 listeners on the Patreon who give $5 a month. So it's like $100 a month I'm getting from the Patreon. So that's something.
I have thought about that, but every real good Patreon I've seen is someone who's like constantly producing content.
Sure.
Has like tiers that you pay this much, you get this.
I only have one tier because I only do the podcast once a week. I do it every Saturday.
Well, that's the thing too. I like to think I'm prolific, obviously.
Sure.
But I'm not as prolific as I wish I could be. I'm a generally slow writer. So that's one reason why I haven't done like a Patreon or anything, because I don't think I could crank out good quality content to justify it.
I hear you. Yep. And most people won't spend like even $5 a month if you're just doing one a month.
Plus, I figure with the way our healthcare system is right now in my family's history, I'm probably gonna save that till like I get like some, I don't know, super cancer or mega AIDS or something.
Oh my God, you got the mega. What's the deal with mega AIDS?
Yeah, that's a story how that happened. But unfortunately, Jonas Tylenol will not solve it.
Will not solve it now.
And I totally did not steal that joke from General. But anyway, no, I have to complete this joke. I'll pretty much just save the Patreon until like something bad happens to me. It's like, holy shit, I need money or else I'm gonna go bankrupt.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Which is really fucking sad.
Yes, it is very sad, man.
Medicare for all that. All right. Let's continue on the other thing. And earlier when I described you as an organizer for Laugh Fest,
Yeah.
is that accurate?
Yeah, sure. I've been involved in Laugh Fest from year one. This coming year, 2020, will be 10 years of Laugh Fest.
Really?
So hopefully it's gonna be bigger and better, or whatever. every year I always try to tell people, like, you can't always top yourself every year. Right? It's just impossible. So some years it might really appeal to a lot of people, and other years it's going to appeal to different people. So, but this is year 10, so they're probably going to try to make it bigger. So I definitely help with the community showcases, the guys who are coming from out of town. I've hosted a lot of shows. They used to call us ambassadors, so kind of like the face of the festival.
Yeah.
Like I'm just kind of known as like a comedian in town. So,
Yeah, so-
people have questions, they'll ask me. So
Yeah, how did you get involved in Laugh Fest?
well, 10 years ago, they were looking for people to host shows, and so they actually put on shows at Dr. Grin's, and I was still the house MC at the time. So they asked the manager, and the manager was like, clearly you got to have Stu. And they got a hold of me, and then I said, how about these people? So there was initially a group of like about 6 of us that were just local guys who were working comedians, and so we just hosted shows and did everything for them. We're a lot of grunt work. I mean, it's all volunteers. People think I'm getting paid. I'm a volunteer just like anybody else. So that's how it happened. I was just there. I tell new guys all the time, a lot of it's just being there. People know your face. They know your name. So you may not be the funniest guy, but they know you're reliable and you're going to be willing to say yes.
Yeah, and obviously Laugh Fest brings in some big names.
Huge names. Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of seeing both Jim Norton and Patton Oswalt.
Great.
And,
Over at a very unusual venue at the Fountain Street Church.
Yeah. Jim Norton was. Yeah. If you ever see Norton's act, he's filthy.
He is.
A degenerate.
He is.
I mean, I think his website URL is still eatabullet.com.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. And Patton Oswalt, like me, is a raging atheist.
Sure.
So he was making jokes about that.
Being in the backdrop actually fell on
Yeah,
him.
I
in one of
remember
the
that.
shows.
It did.
Yes,
And
very funny.
And the 2 hosts, I don't remember their names, but the 2 local DJs that admittedly I don't like.
Oh,
So I don't listen to them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Patton waited until like they nearly got it off. He did the ta-da.
Right. Yes.
And he just totally owned it, especially
Sure.
with the God, I'm Catholic. I should remember this stuff. The table that's there.
Oh, like the altar. Or
Yeah,
whatever?
the altar.
Yes.
That's how lapsed I am. I'm forgetting terms.
Yeah, Patton's great. I wish I'd been able to see the show.
And unfortunately, I was out of town. I missed David Cross.
He would have been great too. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you meet any of these big time comedians when they come to town?
When they come, I usually am not because I'm busy hosting shows elsewhere. Like I usually host a lot of the showcase shows, whether it's the National Showcase Show or the Best of the Midwest, or I might be hosting a community showcase.
Okay.
Or maybe,
Yeah,
we're good.
Let's sit for a check.
Sure.
We can run another
Yeah,
round.
we're gonna sit here for a bit. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then, was it all in one or a few separate?
One. I got it. So,
okay, we're gonna argue over the check here.
I got it.
Ask
I
me,
got
sure.
it. So,
All right then.
probably the biggest name that I got to meet or open. Well, I mean, it's weird. I actually know Jim Gaffigan, so it's weird how.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. Like Jim knows me and I know him, and I've never actually got to see him at Laugh Fest, but he did a show and the show was over, and then he came to Grins to see like part of the national showcase. And he was like, "Hey, Stu, how are you?" And it's always weird when a bigger name comic like that actually recognizes you.
Isn't Chip Gaffigan like that really pasty, fat white dude?
Yes,
Kind of
always talks
No,
about
what?
food.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that guy. He's
Yes.
like, wasn't it more like, "Hey, Stu, how are you?"
Kind of. I did see him at Mark Ridley's in Detroit years ago, and I was kind of sitting in the front row. And during his act, like I don't know if you've ever been to Ridley's, they have a very large stage, and it juts out into the crowd, so you can be like right on the stage, but you're kind of sitting behind it, sort of, if that makes sense. So he is coming out, he's to the front of the stage, so essentially I'm looking at his ass the entire time, because that's what it is.
Perfect.
Yes, it's a great place to sit. But he turned during his act, just looking around the crowd, and he saw me, and like mid-joke, he's like, "Hey, Stu," and then he continued on with his joke. It's kind of surreal in ways that this guy knows who you are. But probably the biggest name that I got to open for was Bridget Everett. You know Bridget?
No, I don't.
Bridget is phenomenal. I would encourage all of your listeners to go see her if you get a chance. She's one of these acts. She's not a traditional stand-up. She's kind of like a burlesque singer, burlesque act. Like she comes out and she sings very dirty songs. She actually like flashes her titty, and it is fucking amazing. And she did the Oddball Comedy Festival a couple of years ago, and I actually got to be on the side stage. And so I did. The side stage goes first. Then when that's over, people head into the actual. It was at the DTE or whatever it's called now. Maybe it's called DTE Pine Knob or whatever the fuck it was. And so we go in, and she's this act that I'm like. She was the only one I didn't know. So they have an intermission, and the intermission was after her. But I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this bitch is. I'm gonna go take a piss. So I go take a piss, and I come back, and everyone's losing their goddamn mind. They're like, yeah! Everyone's standing up, and I see she's in the crowd, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm watching it, and it was fucking amazing. And then that made me realize why she was the last person of the first half, because no one could follow that. No one could follow what Bridget Everett did and get the same kind of response. Like Amy Schumer was the big act of that night. No way Amy Schumer could have followed Bridget Everett. I hate to say it, everybody. Bridget Everett is lively. So if you don't mind the dirtiness, definitely go see Bridget. She's been in some movies and some TV shows. She was doing something with Maria Bamford. She was just in that Netflix thing that came out. It was about... This is where it gets weird, everybody. She was in that Netflix show where that girl got raped in Seattle, and then she denied it, but it really did happen. And then there was something else that happened in Denver, I think, in Colorado.
Wait a sec.
Forgiven or something like that, or Unbelievable.
Wait, the last time you and I met, we were at Dr. Grimm's.
Uh-huh.
What, was that the stand-up comedian out before we had night?
I'm not sure. But she was in that Netflix thing where it was like two cops eventually. They're from different communities, but they're all like, hey, we're all looking for the same guy. So then that was the realization of like, hey, we should probably share information. And then they found out that this girl in Seattle also got raped, and like that it really did happen. And so she was in that. She played like a foster mom in that show. So, but you know, she's great. I love her.
Better actress than Amy Schumer.
And she's actually in Amy Schumer's group of friends. So she's been in a couple of Amy Schumer's movies. I'm not a huge Amy Schumer fan. I do love the fact that Amy does have her friends be in all of her movies. Like it's like she's like the female version of Adam Sandler. Like, hey, here's all my buddies. You're all in my movie, right? So here's like David Spade and Tim Meadows and Schneider.
That is literally the only redeeming value right there.
Yes, I can't deny.
Did you see Sandler when he was here?
I did see Sandler.
Folks, Adam Sandler was here a couple months ago. He did stand-up and music at Van Andel.
He did, and I was disappointed. I'm glad I went.
Really?
I'm glad I went, but I'm disappointed in what I saw. And I couldn't have been farther away from him. We were about as far away in the same arena that I could actually say I was in the building with Adam Sandler. But they have, the big Jumbotron screens on, so you can actually see him. And the entire time, he didn't smile once.
Really?
It never looked like he was having a good time. And that's just sad to me. I'm like, you might not be having a good time. Fake it, bitch.
It's the same thing like when I saw Tim Allen.
Yes. Fake this shit, dude. I spent $40 to see him. Smile, man. He just made $100,000. Smile once.
So wait, the whole time he was singing, he was more like scrappy, 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 scrappy do.
Yes.
Wow, just a straight face.
Yes.
Smiling.
Very, very goofy songs. Not a whole lot of smiling. He did some stand up. Not very good. Very open micer-esque. He's not a stand-up. I don't think he's ever been a stand-up.
What would he even have to do stand-up about now? I mean, like, yeah.
He's married with kids, all that traditional
Yeah, I'm
bullshit.
married, I have kids. My last movies keep bombing because I'm an awful actor.
But I still make millions of dollars.
Because I'm stuck in the 2000s doing the same role.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, he's not good. But he's made in the shade. He's a good dude, man.
Actually, I'll ask you, I asked this a while back to John Serba when.
Oh, John, I love John.
Yeah, when you had your Tonight show at the Holiday Bar.
Yes.
He was on there.
Yes.
You had a Q&A section. I asked him this. See what you think.
Okay.
Do you think Adam Sandler is the greatest nihilist of our generation?
Yes, I will say yes, he is.
Oh, God. Because that's been a great meme online talking about how Adam Sandler's deliberately shitty acting is a form of philosophical rebellion.
Right.
It's hilarious. I love those
Yeah.
memes. All right, and to end this whole Laugh Fest segment.
Okay, all right.
How has Laugh Fest being involved in it? How has it shaped your career?
It hasn't. I can't lie. Being involved in Laugh Fest hasn't done shit for me. I'll say that out loud. It hasn't done shit. The shows have been fine, but they're no different than any other show. And I've always said, like, I could go somewhere, I could be working somewhere else right now and getting paid. Like, I remember there was one Laugh Fest where actually I did leave, and I did a show in Iowa, and I got paid $500, and I probably sold $300 worth of merch, and I took Adam Deggy to work with me, and he made money too, and Laugh Fest has never done that for me.
I like how my last 3 questions where I asked if something shaped your career has just been a definite no.
No. But, I mean, again, it's been, I've got to meet some cool people. Like I said, I got to meet Bridget Everett. I've got to start the Dirty Show, which I was always a fan of. It was always weird to me how we started the festival with the Clean Showcase, but then they didn't have the Dirty Show. So I'm like, you gotta have the yin to the yang kind of thing.
I'm always actually amazed whenever I look at Laugh Fest schedules and see how many clean comedy acts.
Yes, they're very clean oriented.
Which I'm like, wow, this shit is really popular.
It's they want to say it's inclusive, which is a good thing. And
I got nothing against it at all.
The inclusion part definitely lends itself to the clean, because then, like, you don't want to offend anybody or whatever. But I'm like, man, if you want to include everybody, you got to include the degenerates. You got to have the fucking weirdos, man.
Yeah, but I guess once again, think about your audience.
Sure.
Especially, didn't they have like some for kids or something?
Yep, they do have kid shows.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go up and do like a fisting show. Get kids.
Right, yeah. So then you don't hire them. Well, that's the thing too. For 3 years in a row, I was hired to open for the Clean Act. They used to do shows out in Lowell, and Lowell is a community where they want to do cleaner shows. So I opened for Keith Alderstadt, Michael Palasek, and Greg Hahn, all guys who are cleaner. And each of those years they asked me to do it. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And I only need to do 15, 20 minutes up front. And every year they made a huge deal about, you realize this is the clean show, right? Like, you can't say things. Like, you got, and I'm like going, why the fuck did you guys hire me to do this, that you're so fearful that I'm going to do something?
Remember, make the finger.
It's just one of those things of like, it angered me that they did that, because I don't advertise myself in any way as being a clean guy. Like, I'm the guy, I'm gonna say fuck a whole lot in my act. I just do, but I don't find myself to be a blue comic. I don't talk about like fisting jokes or things like that. I just swear.
About cake. You talk about cake.
Yes. I swear a lot, and that's about it. And I talk about some things like we mentioned earlier about like gun control and gay marriage and things like that. So I talk about adult subject matter, but I don't think I'm a blue comic. But every year, Laugh Fest people would be like, and I'm like, I can go 15 minutes without saying fuck, all right? It might be hard, me not saying cunt, but, you know, you do what you need to do. You do it for the charity. You do it for Gilda's Club. So, ultimately, I have enjoyed it, yes. Has it done anything for my career?
No.
Absolutely not. And I wouldn't think any comic from this community who's like me would tell you that it has done something for their career, because it has. Even like my friend Adam Deggy, like he opened for Jim Norton, and he opened for another big name act who came to Fountain Street Church, and it's just like, it's the show. You get to do that show. And that's amazing. Fountain Street sits like 1,200 people, and that's fucking amazing that you got to do that show. But then it's over, and then, you know, it's done. It's one and done, baby. One and done.
Stu McCallister. Not grateful. Not grateful.
Ungrateful bitch.
Not grateful for the opportunity presented to me.
Well, I got to open for Brian Posehn one year. He played at the Pyramid Scheme.
Oh, I was there. I saw
Yeah,
it.
and so I got to do, I think, 4 shows with Brian. 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. It was fun, sold out room, but Pyramid Scheme sits like 250, something like that. It's not a huge room, but a ton of fun.
That's
But
my favorite venue.
it's my favorite venue too, man. Can't lie, I love that venue. But it didn't, I opened for Brian, but it didn't do anything for me. Brian doesn't call me. I have his phone number in my phone, but he's never called me.
Oh shit, really?
Fuck, yeah.
Dude, let's call him up right now.
Hey Brian, who the fuck is this? I'm farting.
Well,
So-
if I remember him right, he had some joke about like having sexy chat with some girl. She pretended to be a cat, which turned him off. And he was one of the roasts.
Yes.
And God, who was that one comedian who passed away? He was like a big time roaster.
Greg Giraldo.
Yeah, Greg Giraldo.
Yes.
I loved him.
Yeah, Greg was great.
Yeah, he's like, Brian, you big motherfucker. How are you so fat when the villagers chase you around with torches and pitchforks every night?
Greg was the greatest.
Yeah,
I got to meet Greg years ago before he died,
Oh.
and he gave me a tip advice, and his tip advice was to move. That was his advice, move. So
Yeah, I guess one thing I always found weird about his career is that he used to be a lawyer, I guess, but he never talked about it. So there's like, what were you doing at that time that makes you not want to talk about it at all?
I don't think he enjoyed it. Like there's a book about him that I read, and he didn't do it terribly long. He's a very smart dude, obviously, and I think he just got tired of the rigmarole, and the paperwork, and everything. You're not being creative. Like he was doing stand up the entire time. He was a lawyer.
Kind of like with you being a social worker.
Yeah, and so I just I guess he was like, yeah, fuck this shit. And he was good enough that he could be like, fuck this shit, and he made a living and was famous from it.
Yep, then he died.
His demons got a hold of him, though. So there you go. I don't have any demons, thank
See,
God.
him, Patrice O'Neal,
Yes.
Mitch Hedberg,
Yes.
they all die. All these great ones die, but these shitty ones keep on.
Shitty ones will live forever, man.
To quote Matthew Good, bad guys win.
Yes.
All right, so you're going to be organizing for Laugh Fest again this year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm actually I'm doing a Laugh Fest podcast on Wednesday. It's the 10-year thing for it, as I said. So they want us to reminisce about our Laugh Fest encounters, and I might talk about some things that they don't want me to talk about. So we'll see what happens. So
Yeah, you just wait. They'll ask you the same thing I did. Then you'll be like, oh, Laugh Fest's done everything
Right.
for me. It just made my
Hey,
career.
David, I want to talk about you know Liza Schlesinger, right?
Yeah, I've heard.
Very famous comic. She's a pretty lady. She also has crazy stalkers. And there was a guy who came all the way from Delaware to see her.
To Laugh Fest?
To Laugh Fest. And this was when, what was it? What was that place? It's the Tiki Bar now, but what was it called? Flanagan's? Mulligan's? It's some dumb Irish name.
No, Flanagan's is right downtown.
Yeah, but it's now the Tiki Bar, like Tiki Don's or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
That it was this Irish place that used to have shows there, and it was a decent enough room. But apparently, this dude was hiding in the back stairwell to like find her, and like they had actually given out like flyers of his pictures to security people to be like, do not let this person in. Please call the police if you see this. Like apparently, this dude is like psychotic or violent. I mean, like crazy enough that you're going to come all the way from Delaware to see you in Michigan. I mean, that's not a simple driving distance. That's probably a 2-day driving distance, and or a crazy flight. Like, why the fuck would you do
Things
that?
you do for love.
The things you do for unrequited love. Yes, that's the shit I want to talk about.
And you know what? We'll get about that right now because we're going to talk about your favorite subjects.
Yes.
And that's very relevant to you right now.
Facialbook.
Yeah, Facialbook.
Yeah.
Bookface.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg Central.
Ugh, gross. It's the
Yeah,
worst.
and actually, that's how I guess you and I like really first started interacting.
Sure.
I friend you on Facebook, and I've seen you perform, along with like a lot of our comedians around here. No, totally not because I'm trying to insert myself into the scene that I have.
Yeah, you like
no,
it.
no business being in whatsoever. Not at all. Not opportunity.
But you like the shows and you're knowledgeable about comedy, and those are the kind of people that I want coming to shows, right? Like you're
no normies, no casuals.
you're seasoned, right? You have knowledge about what's going on, and I like that, as opposed to like bachelorette parties or whatever, where people are just going to a show, right? Like this week, Lachlan Patterson was at Dr. Grin's, and I would prefer that someone like research Lachlan Patterson, like, oh, he's been on the Tonight Show, and he was on Last Comic Standing, and he's done this, that. This guy sounds super funny. I'm going to see him, right? And there you go. Perfect.
Oh God! Again, our good friend Doug Stanhope has talked about that. Especially when like the whole Tosh controversy went down. You know, when he told a heckler, "Would it be funny if she got raped right now?" Remember that one?
Yes.
He stood up for Tosh, saying basically like, "Hey, you should research before you go to these things.
Yes.
You can. You know, it's the internet age."
Yes.
Which, yeah, I agree with for the most part.
It's easy to click on YouTube or find a person's website.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tosh did a pretty shitty job responding to the heckler. I've seen way better. I've seen Stanhope and Oswald, others just destroy these motherfuckers. It's really good.
Yeah.
Actually, Patton Oswalt did such a good one that like it pretty much was an entire track for one of his albums, him just destroying the heckler.
Fun.
But
some guys aren't built to deal with hecklers. Some guys are just not. I'm a comedian. Let me do my act.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's
I
going
will
on
say
here.
this, he wasn't as bad as Kramer.
Right. Yes. No one will top that. I think. So hopefully no one tops that.
Yep. So I first really interacted with you on Facebook because you kind of had a stalker going on.
Yeah.
Basically, if I remember right, you made a post making a joke about a panhandler who was flying a sign, and it wasn't it wasn't a malicious joke. I've seen actual hate towards homeless people, so I know. Yours was just poking fun, and I guess was it beating down or something?
Something. God, it was such a long time ago.
No.
I'm sure it was a worthless joke.
Yeah. No. It's when they call, something that you call it when you're joking about someone who's below you, apparently.
Oh, okay.
What do they call it?
Punching down.
Yep, there we go.
Yes.
And there's this local guy who was like an artist / hippie / crust punk who took very big offense to this.
Whatever.
And he kind of like started sending you a bunch of messages, and he threatened to sue you.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's the guy I'm talking about.
There's always idiots out there who are going to assume like that you're either talking about them or you've stolen something from them or this, that, or whatever, and it's kind of like, God bless America, man, and you need to ignore them, and eventually they go away. People always talk about bad apples in the scene, and they always disappear.
You straight up blocked that guy.
Right.
But no, that's when you and I first interacted, because I think it was me, Jordan Shaver, and a bunch of others were just goofing on this guy.
Right.
I posted like one of his shitty graphics that he made. He immediately sent me a message. Hey, asshole, you want to get fucking sued like I'm going to do Stu?
I don't even know what these guys think they're going to sue me for. Like, where's this going to go?
I think he was like a sue for like defamation or something, for making fun of him. I've gotten the same type of threats too whenever I make fun of people.
Sure.
Yeah, and that was also the first time I listened to your podcast, where you're like, I'm going to do an episode about this, so I listened to it. There you go. That was my first episode of the LMNO.
The Elemental Podcast. I'm glad I got you to listen. That's how you sucker people in.
Yes, you have crust punk friend to sue.
That's fine.
All right, so yeah, what has been your recent history with?
Awful. It's just been awful. And like I said, I had 11 years of absolutely no problems on Facebook. But within the last 3 months, I have been received bans of 24 hours, 7 days, and now I'm on a 30-day ban. All jokes that you can ask people for Facebook for a review. And I'm like, clearly, if a human being looks at this, they would have like, okay, this is a joke.
Not always.
Right.
I have my own problem.
I don't think people actually do review it because everyone has been denied like immediately. Like there has been no way that anyone looked at the joke in this quick amount of time. Yeah. So the first joke was about mass shootings, and so like right there you're thinking, oh man, Stu made a joke about mass shootings. But what I said is, white guys have gotten so good at mass shootings, I'm not going to go to my family reunion later this month. Right? So the implication is someone within my family was going to do a mass shooting at our family reunion. I didn't say it was going to be me. I didn't say it was going to happen. I didn't say anybody was going to die. There was no threats. But I got a 24-hour day from that. And I'm assuming someone reported it, but I don't know. I don't know. Because people have talked about, like, formulas or whatever. So there's the word mass shooting. Like, someone wrote mass shooting in the thing, so like, oh, there you go. But then I'm like, that can't work, though, because what if someone said, like, thoughts and prayers to the victims of this mass shooting, right? Like, now they're going to get a ban for saying that? Like, this is weird to me. But no one reviewed it, 24-hour ban, there you go.
Yeah.
So then a week later, I get my 7-day ban because I told a joke describing a woman as white trash, like a fictional character, not an actual human being.
Dude, that's why I got my 7-day ban.
Because you called someone white trash?
Yeah, because I said white trash because it was on something on Michigan Advance.
Uh-huh.
And I just wrote to a guy, I don't remember the exact story, I was like, get a little political here. I said, well, yeah, because, you know, if you're going to vote Republican, you have to be racist white trash. Right. And, like, within 3 seconds, bam, 7-day ban.
Yeah, and that's what I got, too. And they described it as hate speech.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm using white trash as, like, a descriptor, and I didn't call anybody white trash. I called, like, I didn't say, Garrett's white trash. I just said, this woman is white trash. Like, you wouldn't know what I was talking about because I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a fictional character.
You're doing a big generalization.
Yeah, and I said, but when you say the word white trash, whatever you're thinking in your brain is correct, right? Like it's, you know, I could have made a long description of like a woman who lives in a double wide and smokes menthol cigarettes, and if she's pregnant every day of the year, you know, this long thing. But if I just say white trash, you know what I'm talking about. So, but they're like, that's hate speech. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So that also made me think, because someone, it was up there a good half hour, because people were commenting on it, they loved it, people liked it.
Oh, someone did report that.
It made me think someone reported it,
yeah,
yes.
Mine got, like, instantly when I posted it, 3 seconds, bam, bam.
Yeah. No,
so it's gotta be part of that.
It was up there for a while, and then I had other people posting on my wall. They would just post white trash, and they didn't get in trouble for it. So it made me go, someone ratted me out. Someone tattled on me. So I'm like, oh God. So when that happened, when I got off the ban, because the problem is, like, and you probably have this too, when you get banned, you can't post on anything that you're like an admin for or whatever. And I run several groups. And because of that, I couldn't post on those groups. And some of those groups I make money for. So I'm like, I can't, you're fucking with my money. I'm okay with that. So like, you're fucking with my money. So I'm like, I can't do that. I can't afford to get any more bans, right? So my goal when I came back, I can't afford to get reported. I'm just gonna post pictures of toilets. Because toilets are a metaphor for Facebook and how shitty it is, right? So that's all I was doing. So this past Thursday, posted a toilet, and some woman commented on it. She's like, why are men's bathrooms so much cleaner than women's bathrooms? So I responded back as a joke, because it's also a person that I know. I said, because women are filthy pigs. And that is a form of hate speech, according to Facebook.
Stu McCallister, incel.
Ugh, yes, very much the incel, man. So I immediately got it, and so I don't think she reported it. I don't know if anyone reported it because it happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, kind of like mine. I think it was like the algorithm.
It's that picked up on you called women filthy pigs, and I'm like, what? Like,
You guys all started, or do you need a couple of minutes?
yeah. I got it.
I just want to make sure.
I got it. Here we go. This do this.
You're back.
So, so I'm like, what the fuck? So someone on Twitter.
Nice Doctor Strange wall, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, huh?
What
That's
do you
pretty
think?
cool.
What do you think of the movie?
I loved it. And I'm not a huge Benedict Cumberbatch fan, but I thought he was great. I loved him in the Avengers movies.
Second one sounds like it's gonna be good too.
I hope so, man.
Multiverse Adventure.
I thought it was great. I loved the comic book when I was a kid. It was never like my favorite. Like when I had to get a new wallet, I was actually looking for like a Captain America wallet, but
Captain America's a comic.
I just he's a cuck. He's an incel. So I just couldn't find one that I liked. But then I saw this Doctor Strange one, and it's red, and it's kind of the old school Doctor Strange. I'm like, oh, that's great. So there we go. So
You guys are all set. Thanks for understanding. Also, that was an amazing moment.
yeah, it is. Thanks, man.
I know, right?
Marvel superhero.
Thanks, man. So
Featuring special guest the waiter.
the waiter and Doctor Strange, Stu's wallet. So I posted about getting banned on Twitter, right? And I said, I got myself a 30-day ban, Facebook shit or whatever. And someone's like, well, what happened? And I explained to them that I joked that a woman was a filthy pig because, like, I'm commenting about a toilet, about a comment, why are men's rooms cleaner than women's bathrooms? So it was like within the context of it all. This is funny and maybe accurate. Every woman I've talked to about, they're like, oh yeah, women are filthy pigs. So someone sent me a link to an article, and Zuckerberg has basically said, like, okay, if you were to insert Muslims are filthy pigs, or if you were to insult like homosexuals are filthy pigs, would that be okay? And I'm like,
Which is funny because I've seen that same exact postings
and nothing's happened.
Yep, nothing happened.
And
I've even straight up reported so I always would get a message back. Thank you for reporting, but we found none of this violence, blah, blah, blah.
Well, here's my thing, too. I see a lot of weird shit on Facebook. I'm sure you do, too. If something's really weird and I don't like it, I just move on. Like, if someone's not threatening someone, or if it's not like a racist comment or something like weird like that, like I'm either gonna like unfriend, unfollow, block, or whatever, right? I don't think I've ever reported someone because I've never seen anything to that extent where like, oh, I need to let the authorities know or whatever. Right? This guy, he threatened to shoot somebody, and I'm like, all right, I probably should let somebody know. Or even like someone like threatened to hurt themselves or something, you let someone know. But I'm like, I'd like to think that people know me too, that like, this dude is a comedian, he's going to say funny things, and I may not like everything that he says. Find me a comic that you like every joke they tell. It's impossible. So, but now I got my 30-day ban, and again, it's one of those things of like, you screwed me because I can't post on any of my things because I can't post on it, but I had to go through this process of making a fake account, and that was a huge hassle because everything was linking back to my profile that was banned. So even if I made a new profile...
When you made this one, did you like do it on the same device that you...
Yes, yes. So what I did...
We'll go into like what happened to me, but
Okay.
One thing I learned is that, and this is just me speculating, but I think they also like track your IP address.
Yes.
Because as I noticed, when I created my separate profile on my laptop, I got banned when I was using my phone here. I logged in with my phone, my secondary account. It wouldn't like let me comment or anything on there. Same thing.
Yeah.
But then when I got on my computer, I can do whatever on my secondary account. So I do think it's also IP address.
I went to the library. I made my fake account at the library.
Nice.
Because I was like, because that's what I was thinking of, like, oh, they're tracking my computer or my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just went to the library and I made a fake email account, and then I made a fake account so that I could then be added to where I'm getting paid. And I'm like, I'm not going to do anything with this account. I'm not going to trust anybody for anything. So it's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's and again, I don't believe in censorship necessarily because Facebook is not my thing. It's something that I use. So if Zuckerberg wants to make these rules, good for him. But I've asked for what the rules are, and I can't find the rules.
Well, yeah. Like honestly, I have my criticisms, if you want to call that, Facebook. One thing I am proud of, especially with this 30-day ban I'm almost done with. I have yet to complain about my free speech being violated or anything. You know, I'm not going to be like a Milo Yiannopoulos or Owen Benjamin or any shitheads who are like, you're infringing my free speech. Why can't I call this person a racial slur?
There are no... I don't believe in freedom of speech. I don't think it's real. It's not real, right? It's not... In this country, it's not a real thing. We talk about it a lot. But it isn't real because there are consequences for your actions, right? And the consequence for my action now is like a 30-day ban on Facebook, which I think is ridiculous. But those are the rules of Facebook. Now, if I wanted to stand on my lawn and yell, women are filthy pigs, then there you go until like my neighbors call the cops on me or something like that. But I mean, there's always consequences for action. Freedom of speech it's an illusion. Right?
Stu McCallister, the comedian who does think free speech is...
Well, I mean, I want it to be. I want everybody to say what they want to say as long as they're not
at least
harming anybody.
Well, at least in this country, I believe in free speech, but I don't believe in the First Amendment because I think it's a sham. Like, again, it's also the same thing with like the Second Amendment. I believe in gun rights. Not the Second Amendment because if you look at the way it really is, not really actually that way.
Right.
But to go into what happened to me, I was usually just getting a bunch of. At first, it was just like shit getting deleted for various things, like claiming it's hate speech or violates their decency policy.
Sure.
I had one where like it was just like a smiling cop, and then on it says, "Is white shoot black people on sight?" Because it's a cop. And,
Sure.
And got that on there. But then when I took the screenshot of it, it was like that I posted on my wall, like, "LOL, look what happened." They then they that too. I'm like, holy shit, they got that too.
Yeah,
they got the screenshot.
That happened to me too. When I did the joke, I screenshotted the joke and what I got banned for, and then they were like, "Okay, fuck you. Here's a ban or whatever." So I'm like,
but my first
silly.
Yeah, I got some 24-hour bans. But my big, like I said, big 7-week ban was a whole, well, Republicans are racist white trash ban.
That was the 30-day?
No, that was the 7-day.
7 day?
And my fault was like, okay, I'm going to create a secondary profile after this. Then I fucking forgot. And then this happened because, that's another thing. Yours happened, from what I see, because the shit that you think is funny as the shit to post.
This is funny.
Me, I get into arguments with assholes. And either Facebook picks it up or they report me.
Yes.
And I got reported because, actually I got screenshots here. I posted this nice little meme on this one guy. It says, "I am not politically correct. I say, America sucks. Hail Satan. Communism will win. Fuck Christmas. Burn the flag. If this goes against your beliefs, go back to your safe space, snowflake."
Sure, I mean,
it's a parody of those signs that you see.
Yes. Yep.
And as you see, I then started getting these kind of responses. "Yes, but do you say that on the internet safe space, or you got the balls to say it to somebody's face?" And
Does that guy have the balls to say it to your face, right?
yeah, but
a lot of internet tough guys out there.
oh yeah, and that's what it was. It kept having a bunch of right wingers trying to fight me. So I was deciding, like, okay, how do I troll? So I done one that I haven't done in a long time, which is I pretend to hit on them. So
gotcha.
my instant reply was like, "Would you like to hook up sometime?"
Sure.
Then I get another guy, same thing. And I said, "Justin, I'll say this guy's name, Beaner Justin. I have a better suggestion. Why don't we meet up and make out like real men?"
Sure.
Then he says, "You want to make out with me? You saying you want to meet me for your homosexual activities?"
Right.
And I said, "Yes. Basically, I met up with dudes who challenged me to fights online. Each time it happens, we just end up having hot, passionate gay sex. So really, why put on airs? Let's just get this on."
So this is when Garrett. This is when I hit the unfollow button on this whole thing of like.
Yeah.
After a while, like I just get tired of engaging people.
I know.
And I'm just like going,
that's my problem.
You got to learn to not engage, man.
I know. So
It's awful.
same thing. I'm gonna beat your ass, blah blah.
No one's gonna do anything.
Yeah, I then take a nap because I did this while I was at my day job. I come home, take a nap, wake up. Man, wake up to this wonderful one.
Oh God. Okay.
And it says, and they gave like the whole list of like reasons, all the posts, which go back to like October last year. And well,
was this all happening in a group? Some group that you're a part of?
Yeah,
Get out of that group, man, or whatever. You know,
well, I don't even remember, but yeah, this is a case of these guys, Mr. Free Speech types, just instantly reporting me. But
yes.
I did win one because I always, challenge it and say review it. Yeah, no, but they did put up this one because they claimed that it was for hate speech. Why don't we meet up, make out like real? I got.
That's hate speech?
Yeah. I got one of these guys reported that as hate speech, and Facebook believed it. Then they reviewed it again. They're like, "We apologize. Your comment is back on Facebook."
Great. Yeah, when you have an
I'm
actual...
still banned for 30 days, but I won one back.
Nice. Hopefully it's like when you get a real person to look at something. Like I truly believe, like, if I had a real human being look at the 3 comments that I made that got me banned, they'd be like, oh yeah, this is all a joke or humorous or whatever. But it didn't turn out that way.
Well, I kind of don't believe that because, as I said, I have reported posts for 2 reasons.
Okay.
One, as I said before, I'm a socialist, very political, and I don't think fascists and racists and all that should have a space. So the best way to do that on Facebook is to report them.
Yes.
And holy shit, I have reported so many pictures, pages, and comments. And like 9% of the time, I would just get back, this does not violate blah blah. Like, wait, really? This one's just talking about how Jews are killing white babies every single day. You don't find this hate speech?
Well, it's weird to me too how Facebook now is not going to look into like political ads. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
They're not going to look into political ads and like, yeah, this could be clearly wrong or false or like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're not going to look into it. We're leaving it up to the readers to decide if this information is correct or not. I'm like, what? But then you're going to ban me for 30 days because women are filthy pigs? Get out of here.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if you heard like the audio, but I guess like Mark Zuckerberg claimed that he doesn't want Elizabeth Warren being elected because she wants to break up Facebook among other corporations.
Oh, really?
So yeah, Facebook leans to the right most of the time.
Sure. Well, it's always follow the money. Follow the money, listeners.
That's what I'm saying. Right-wingers bring in, whether they're fascists or baby boomers, just bring in more clicks, more ads, more money. Then us lefties who are just like, no, you're not paying for that.
Yes. Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, Garrett, if I wasn't a comedian, I don't know if I would be on Facebook. I wouldn't use it like I do.
Same thing as a writer.
Sure.
But the only other reason I would think to be on Facebook if I wasn't a writer is just so I can keep up on local events like concerts and that.
Yeah. I use it as like a promotional tool, but now I'm kind of backing away from a ton of stuff. So for me now, it is more like, what can I use Facebook to benefit me specifically as a human being, not as like a comedian? So,
another thing that besides reporting fascists and all that, and I guess this is maybe karma coming back at me, but I do like to bait these guys into kind of like how Stan Hope would bait pedophiles.
Sure.
I would like to bait them into, like, say, making a threat or making a racial slur.
Sure.
Then I would report that and boom.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I'm at the same time, dude, I'm like, is it worth your while, man?
Yes.
I know it gets me riled up. Like, if I were to do that, I would just get riled. I'd be like, fuck this motherfucker.
I know.
And then I'm like, do I want to feel like that? I'm like, I don't want to feel like that.
I know. I have gotten a lot better than I was previous years ago, but as you can see, it's still working.
Sure, but so much of this, man, we gotta let it go. We gotta like pull the plug, disconnect, hit the turn off button or whatever. Because they're all. Clearly I'm not in the same groups as you, but I'm not looking for any of that stuff either, man. So because I think it would get me riled up. I'm like, I don't want to get riled up over this. I just want to talk about my wiener.
You don't think that would be good for your career, arguing with a bunch of faceless guys?
Degens? No, God, no, not at all. So Facebook is garbage. All social media is garbage, everybody. So there we go. Stu McCallister, comedian. Look for me at Stu McCallister on Twitter.
No. All right, let's just do one more thing quickly.
Okay.
One thing I do miss about your post now that you're just posting toilets and getting banned is that you used to post about watching movies.
Oh,
Watching the shit
yeah.
out.
Yes, I would watch the shit out. I'm trying to do that, well, until I got banned. I was moving that over to my fan page. So I did that a couple times on my fan page. But yeah, I'd watch the shit out of movies, everybody. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you were one of the my three favorite local movie critics.
Oh, okay.
Along with John Serba, as we just mentioned.
He's the greatest of all time.
And Mike Logan, Garret
Oh,
Schuelke
Garret,
of
yes.
This Better Be Good podcast.
Yeah, they're good.
Yep.
Those guys, those two dudes are, like, I love movies, and I'll be like, yeah, I enjoyed this movie. And they would be like, well, it was a shit movie because of this. Because they're, like, kind of, they're film nerds. Like, I don't know what you want to call it.
Critics.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah. And I would, like, I enjoyed this Adam Sandler movie. And I know that it's garbage,
Okay.
but I enjoyed it because of whatever, right? Like, the one that came out, like, within the last month or two, I think it was called The Good Boys, about those three, like, middle school kids who were trying to go to a party or whatever. And it was just, like, it was a goofy, fun movie. And I can't lie, I thought it was going to be garbage, and I loved it. I thought it was great. But then Garrett was like, oh, it was horrible. And I was like, what do you mean it was horrible? Like, you got to go in going, like, okay, this is just like, well, what was that first movie? Superbad. It was kind of like a little younger version of Superbad. And I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
But those guys are like, no, because of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the second to last time I talked to Garrett, we were in Muskegon. He opened for Jim Florence.
Oh,
it was
there you go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see if him and Mike want to like appear on, like do a swap cast thing.
Sure.
I wanted to do it in November because the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was scheduled.
Oh.
Then.
Previews I saw, like the pictures of the hedgehog looked awful.
Yeah, but they pushed it back to like February or March because they redesigned him.
Oh,
And the redesigns look great.
Oh, did they look
Yeah,
better?
but
Okay.
so yeah, sorry, Mike, Garrett.
Ah.
Have you on later when I talk about the best movie of all time.
Oh, you're a big Sonic fan? Is that what
I
you're-
am. That's the thing.
There you go.
I'm gonna hate it, but I'm gonna love it because
Right.
Sonic is one of my heroes.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
You got to go into a movie going like, I know what this is. I know it'll be garbage, but I can still enjoy
You know,
it.
I did mock your face one time when I'm like,
What'd I do?
Look,
Which one?
Look, when I saw Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
was a great film.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love it. Yeah,
look at me. I'm Stu McCallister. I'm watching this shit out of this.
I do. Other people do say that, like they're watching the shit out of movies. Like I have 3 or 4 people
Yeah.
that I'm friends with who are,
Yeah.
do that as well, and I find that funny.
Yeah, how many movies do you like see a month?
You know, it used to be a whole lot more. Now it's probably like 2 or 3. When I had Movie Pass, I was seeing a ton, and there was that time when I had Movie Pass where I saw 1 a day for a month, and that was difficult. There was actually one day where I couldn't see any, so I saw 2 in one day instead.
Nice.
But that was, and I think that's part of the reason why Movie Pass went under, because I fucked it over. Like,
Oh, it's gone now?
it's gone now. It's
Oh,
totally,
nice.
totally. But apparently, Celebration Cinema is going to make a Movie Pass type thing, so
Nice.
I'll get that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like, I'll just wait. I can see it at home on Netflix or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
I enjoy the theater experience. That's just me.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I guess I wanted to ask, have you seen Joker?
I did.
Oh, what do you think of it?
I liked it. I did. I liked it. It wasn't, to me.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Spoilers here. I didn't. It probably didn't resonate with me as much as it did other people, but I didn't think it was garbage. And I don't understand the people who are like, oh, this movie's going to incite people to do things. I'm like, come on, man. People are responsible for their own actions. Like, music doesn't make you do stuff. Video games don't make you do stuff. Movies don't make you do stuff. You decide you want to go do stuff.
I love the movie, and to get political once more,
Uh-huh.
that's kind of how the right likes to assimilate, or should I say, appropriate stuff.
Sure.
So they tried to appropriate Joker. In a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
even before it came out.
Yeah. Which is dumb.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the movie's about a guy who's impoverished,
Yes.
suffers from mental illness,
Yes.
and is a child abuse victim.
Yes.
So he's really not like the incel guy that we're led to believe.
Right. No, not at
But,
all.
I mean, I made a lot of jokes about that. Like, man, DC and Warner are really brave to make a movie about the Joker getting angry because he can't have a blonde virgin girlfriend. And he has to take on Batman at the end,
Right,
or as
right.
he calls him, the Chad Knight.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I've made a lot of jokes about that.
Funny. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see if they make another one with him. Do you think that'll happen?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so. You
one and
see,
done.
DC's doing this. They have like their main continuity where like the Justice League, Batman, Wonder Woman are all in.
Sure.
Which, well, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam were good. All the art's been crap so far.
Right. Yeah.
But they also have the thing that Joker's like the first one of called DC Black, where it's basically gonna be like one-shot films and films that are darker, more surreal, that don't fit into a continuity.
Gotcha. Huh.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that, so that's a bummer. It would be interesting to see him, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, fight.
Yeah.
What's his face? Robert Pattinson, is that his name?
Yeah. Well,
Fight him.
well,
Who's Batman?
that's the thing. We're comparing it to like past Jokers, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Joaquin Phoenix Joker will probably get his ass kicked because all the other ones are like legit criminals and terrorists, and he's just a guy who
Lunatic.
well, he's someone that in our society we should technically empathize with.
Sure.
At least not emphasize to the point that he murders talk show hosts. but
Right.
To the point where it's like, holy shit, we need to help you and your mom.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. They were forgotten, kind of. So,
Yeah. I did like the portrayal of Thomas Wayne because in the comics he's portrayed as like the good millionaire, Bruce Wayne's father. Father, what do? I shall become a bad. Well, this time he's basically kind of Trump. And well, what do you call like the people of Gotham, like filthy pigs?
Yes. Yep. He did. He would have been banned on Facebook.
Actually, I think they plagiarized that line from him. You should sue them.
Damn it! I'm suing that man.
All right, dude. That's all I wanted to talk about.
It's a good podcast, man.
Yeah. Okay, Stu. Where can we find you, man? Besides Facebook.
I'm banned on Facebook, but you can find me Twitter and Instagram at Stu McCallister. It's StuMcCallister. It's amazing how both my names get misspelled all the time, so I spell it out. But Google Stu McCallister, whatever, you'll find me.
Yeah. Got any upcoming shows or any upcoming
I
projects?
got something happening in November, and then I'm at Grins in December, and got that Laugh Fest podcast whenever that's going to come out. So nothing major.
And you said yours is going to come out on Wednesday, right?
We're recording it Wednesday. I don't know when they're actually going to.
Because
they're probably going to have to edit out all my swears.
Oh. See, this is a free speech zone, so
Oh,
you can say where you
I
want.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, and then my own podcast, the Elemental Podcast. If people want to listen to that, great. And if they don't listen to that, that's good too.
Yeah, very humble, actually.
Hey man, I'm the best at being humble.
You're the comedian that does comedic things.
That's right.
Stu McCallister.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, that's it. We should probably get going.
Thanks, Garret.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Check out Stu online, and check this out everywhere you can. YouTube, Internet Archive, Anchor, Spotify, and now the new platform, Mixcloud. Yeah, going for the gold here, man.
Nice.
Well, i.e., whichever service allows me to upload shit for free.
All right, the best.
Yep, and you can find me at my official website, GarretSchuelke.tumblr.com. The podcast now has an official Twitter at SchuelkePod.
Nice.
And of course, my personal Twitter at Garret Schuelke. It's all on there, folks. You will find it one way or another. All right, I guess we're done here.
We're done. Thanks, man.
Stu, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. And you're absolutely sure you don't want me to pay you?
Ah, we got it, man. We're good. You had one beer. I had 14 beers and 6 pizzas.
No, we're good.
You're the greatest. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you, unknowingly, to the people here at Harmony Brewing for appearing on here. And thank you, folks, for listening. Have a good night. Here's the outro song.